That's pretty cool. Well, welcome to the podcast.
My name is Monique Dodson. I was put on this earth to do one thing.
The streets, the streets, the streets, the streets, the streets, the streets.
Hi, everybody. It's Anura Mathis, your host of Freedom to Fight. I have another guest on my show, Mo Dodson. She's a fighter. I'm really excited to have more like fighters on my show. She's an amateur strawweight champion with Sparta Combat League. You're a lot of other things too, but I need to find that out. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Monique Dodson, currently in Colorado, amateur, soon to be pro, hopefully starting next year, I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, I really just work, chill, chill.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it take to become pro?
So honestly, in MMA, and I feel like a lot of combat sports, it's actually not as hard as people think because you don't have to be picked up by a team to go pro. You know, the NFL, NBA, hockey, whatever.
Yeah.
You need somebody to look at.
Which is here. Cool. This is an awkward position for me to be in. It needs to be like, maybe I'll just move closer to you. Yeah. But you're not in it. I'm not skilled at this. I'm just figuring it out.
With time.
It really needs to be more of you. Like the table needs to turn even. Does this feel comfortable to you?
I mean, I feel fine.
You feel fine. Okay. Okay. I'll just be looking at you.
If we're going to do it, we just do it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I'll do my intro. Hi, everybody. It's Anura Mathis, your host of Freedom to Fight. I have another guest on my show, Mo Dodson. She's a fighter. I'm really excited to have more like fighters on my show. She's an amateur strawweight champion with Sparta Combat League. You're a lot of other things too, but I need to find that out. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Monique Dodson, currently in Colorado, amateur, soon to be pro, hopefully starting next year, I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, I really just work, chill, chill.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it take to become pro?
So honestly, in MMA, and I feel like a lot of combat sports, it's actually not as hard as people think because you don't have to be picked up by a team to go pro. You know, the NFL, NBA, hockey, whatever.
Yeah.
You need somebody to look at you. You need somebody to like, kind of like put you on a team. With combat sports, you train at gyms, you form a team. Maybe you get signed by an agent, you have somebody that kind of negotiates for you, but all in all, you can do it by yourself.
Okay.
Once you kind of go pro, at least in Colorado, once you go pro in any one combat sport, though, besides jiu-jitsu, I think you're kind of considered pro in every combat sport.
Okay.
So it's kind of on you. It's nothing really to it. You get a fight, you sign a contract. It's for a pro bout. You're professional from there on out.
So I'm real curious about this because I'd like to fight at some point. I'm in my older years, but okay. So is really what's the obstacle then? Is it like financial? Like you have to fund yourself as an adult athlete?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's definitely a big obstacle, I'd say, um, because so much goes into it. I mean, if you don't have health care, you have to pay to get your blood work done, and you have to have blood work done for a
Okay.
fight because obviously, if you have bloodborne illnesses or whatever's going on,
Oh.
you can't fight. So if you have hepatitis, obviously HIV/AIDS,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to fight. But that's obviously for the safety of everyone else involved. Um, that if something was to happen, a lot of good promotions, they usually have some type of insurance that they'll cover you under, and it'll be a specific amount. But a lot of times you have to do digging, and then a lot of times promoters will give you the runaround. So you have to be on top of that. Travel, if you're an amateur, you're not really getting paid. You might get a percentage of ticket sales, but if you're traveling to other states to compete, that's all on you.
Yeah.
Even as a pro starting out, like, you're not getting paid big bucks. You have to build. You might get a percentage of ticket sales, but if you're like in a promotion like LFA who doesn't really rely on ticket sales, you're not getting a cut of ticket sales. Um, it kind of depends. Like, everybody's situation is a little bit different. Everybody gets backed by different people and just kind of align themselves with the right people. So yeah, I'd say that's one of the biggest obstacles, like balancing living, finding a job that like kind of like works
Allows
with
for it. Yeah.
allows you to train how you need to train, because you can't expect to go pro and you're half-assing training.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Okay. And like, is there like an age limit of like you've reached this age and you can't compete anymore?
I feel like MMA is kind of an anomaly when it comes to age. Uh, Again, bringing up NFL, NBA, you're looking at guys that are like, they get to 32, they're like too old, right?
Yeah.
In MMA, you hit 32, you just now reached your athletic prime. There's been like Glover Teixeira, he didn't become champion until he was like 40 something.
Okay.
I think he's maybe like 43, 40 something.
Okay.
He's not fighting now, but
Sure.
didn't become a champion until 40. So at that point, I won't say it's too late. Depending on what your goals are, if you're just getting into fighting, I might say, in my personal opinion, 40 might be late to think you're going to become a world champion
Sure.
at the highest level.
Yeah.
But there's always those outliers, right?
Sure. I'd like to be the outlier,
Yeah.
And actually, I want to know I want to know your whole life and your fight career. But I was an athlete when I was younger. I was a distance runner. I was a sprinter first until my summer coach said, "You're going to be a distance runner now." I was like, "Why do you hate me?"
Yeah.
I was just running like 200s and maybe the 400 and all of my siblings. So my older siblings were also in track and field. Mm-hmm. My older brother at the time was he was in the paper like weekly. Mm. My older sis, both of my older sisters, all of us were, but like they were the reason why I kind of started doing that. And so I have some background in athleticism and stuff, but I mean, it's different to be a fighter. Mm-hmm. It's you have to treat your body differently. And so I want to know what you do. So, okay, let me back up.
Yeah.
Were you an athlete when you were younger?
Yeah. So I always grew up playing sports from a very early age. I kind of was in whatever, just I grew up in the projects. So we had a rec center, and throughout
Where did you grow up?
Tulsa, Oklahoma, basically.
Really?
So I was born in Georgia, but my mom and father kind of from Oklahoma area. So my dad being in the military and them splitting up, being back and forth between them, my mom went back to Oklahoma. My dad was wherever the military sent him. So kind of always made my way back to Oklahoma. So Sam from there, basically. But I did grow up in the projects, and they always, at the rec center we had in the center of our projects, they would have like sports for the youth. So I played basketball, a little
Okay.
bit of baseball, anything that they offered, I just did it.
Yeah.
As I got to high school or middle school and high school, I kind of stuck with basketball more. I did do some track and field and some cross country in high school. Not that I wanted to,
Yeah.
I just kind of got forced because
That's
it's
what
do
happens.
something in the off season, right, for basketball. After that, I went to college. I attempted to play basketball. It didn't really work out. So then I got into rugby. Ended up being very good at it.
Wow.
Yeah, my first year, I ended up becoming like a regional all-star. So yeah, it's kind of funny that you talk about like the treatment of your body. I feel like in those times I didn't really do anything to keep my body up. But I've never had an injury. Like I've never broken a bone. And then doing like martial arts, I get hurt.
Yeah.
I get hurt. I still haven't had anything too crazy, but there's just like little things here and there that, they just don't feel the same. And that could be because I'm also getting older.
Yeah.
But athletically, I feel younger. So it's kind of weird to be like, I feel younger athletically, but like there's little things that just don't go away now.
My goodness. Okay. So much to say about that, but that's how I feel too I'll tell everybody. It was pandemic time and everybody was overeating and everybody was overweight, maybe, but I feel like I was like maybe like 15, 20 pounds overweight. I got into martial arts because of an abusive relationship. I've been in plenty, but this one was physical. He broke my hand and other things. And I figured I need to probably learn how to fight if something like this could happen. And from like the time that I started and then like kind of got more serious about it and said I was going to compete, I lost like 25 pounds. Like it does make you feel younger.
Yeah.
And my face structure, everything just changed. So people don't know how old I am because I'm in decent shape, but
yeah, I don't know what it is about fighting overall. I don't know if it's just like the type of work it is, but I feel like my body is just, and it's the same with the face too, because I've always been in great shape. I've never, even during the pandemic, that's just the type of person I am. I just never been out of shape.
Yeah. Which is here. Cool. This is an awkward position for me to be in. It needs to be like, maybe I'll just move closer to you. Yeah. But you're not in it. I'm not skilled at this. I'm just figuring it out.
With time.
It really needs to be more of you. Like the table needs to turn even. Does this feel comfortable to you?
I mean, I feel fine.
You feel fine. Okay. I'll just be looking at you.
If we're going to do it, we just do it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I'll do my intro. Hi, everybody. It's Anura Mathis, your host of Freedom to Fight. I have another guest on my show, Mo Dodson. She's a fighter. I'm really excited to have more like fighters on my show. She's an amateur strawweight champion with Sparta Combat League. You're a lot of other things too, but I need to find that out. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Monique Dodson, currently in Colorado, amateur, soon to be pro, hopefully starting next year, I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, I really just work, chill, yeah.
Which is here. Cool. This is an awkward position for me to be in. It needs to be like, maybe I'll just move closer to you. Yeah. But you're not in it. I'm not skilled at this. I'm just figuring it out.
With time.
It really needs to be more of you. Like the table needs to turn even. Does this feel comfortable to you?
I mean, I feel fine.
You feel fine.
regardless.
Okay. Okay. I'll just be
I'm good
looking
with
at you.
if we're gonna do it, we just do it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I'll do my intro. Hi, everybody. It's Anura Mathis, your host of Freedom to Fight. I have another guest on my show, Mo Dodson. She's a fighter. I'm really excited to have more like fighters on my show. She's an amateur strawweight champion with Sparta Combat League. You're a lot of other things too, but I need to find that out. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Monique Dodson, currently in Colorado, amateur, soon to be pro, hopefully start of next year, I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, I really just work, chill,
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it take to become pro?
So honestly, in MMA, and I feel like a lot of combat sports, it's actually not as hard as people think because you don't have to be picked up by a team to go pro. You know, the NFL, NBA, hockey, whatever.
Yeah.
You need somebody to look at you. You need somebody to like, kind of like put you on a team. With combat sports, you train at gyms, you form a team. Maybe you get signed by an agent, you have somebody that kind of negotiates for you, but all in all, you can do it by yourself.
Okay.
Once you kind of go pro, at least in Colorado, once you go pro in any one combat sport, though, besides jiu-jitsu, I think you're kind of considered pro in every combat sport.
Okay.
So it's kind of on you. It's nothing really to it. You get a fight, you sign a contract. It's for a pro bout. You're professional from there on out.
So I'm real curious about this because I'd like to fight at some point. I'm in my older years, but okay. So what's the obstacle then? Is it like financial? Like you have to fund yourself as an adult athlete?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's definitely a big obstacle, I'd say, because so much goes into it. I mean, if you don't have health care, you have to pay to get your blood work done, and you have to have blood work done for a fight because obviously if you have bloodborne illnesses or whatever's going on, you can't fight. So if you have hepatitis, obviously HIV, AIDS, you're not allowed to fight, but that's obviously for the safety of everyone else involved. That if something was to happen, a lot of good promotions, they usually have some type of insurance that they'll cover you under, and it'll be a specific amount, but a lot of times you have to do digging, and then a lot of times promoters will give you the runaround. So you have to be on top of that. Travel, if you're an amateur, you're not really getting paid. You might get a percentage of ticket sales, but if you're traveling to other states to compete, that's all on you.
Yeah.
Even as a pro starting out, like you're not getting paid big bucks. You have to build. You might get a percentage of ticket sales, but if you're like in a promotion like LFA who doesn't really rely on ticket sales, you're not getting a cut of ticket sales. It kind of depends. Like everybody's situation is a little bit different. Everybody gets backed by different people and just kind of align themselves with the right people. So yeah, I'd say that's one of the biggest obstacles, like balancing living, finding a job that like kind of like works with allows you to train how you need to train, because you can't expect to go pro and you're half-assing training.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Okay. And like, is there like an age limit of like you've reached this age and you can't compete anymore?
I feel like MMA is kind of an anomaly when it comes to age. Again, bringing up NFL, NBA, you're looking at guys that are like, they get to 32, they're like too old, right?
Yeah.
In MMA, you hit 32, you just now reached your athletic prime. There's been like Glover Teixeira. He didn't become champion until he was like 40 something.
Okay.
I think he's maybe like 43, 40 something.
Okay.
He's not fighting now, but
Sure.
didn't become a champion until 40. So at that point, I won't say it's too late. Depending on what your goals are, if you're just getting into fighting, I might say, in my personal opinion, 40 might be late to think you're going to become world champion
Sure.
at the highest level.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's always those outliers, right?
Sure. I'd like to be the outlier,
Yeah.
you know? And actually, I want to know I want to know your whole life and your fight career. I want to ask you about fighting. So what do you have? Tell me how you achieved your championship, your strawweight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So being in Colorado as an amateur, most likely people are kind of fighting more regionally or within their state, locally, than they are kind of traveling because, like we talked about, it costs money. Being in my weight class, I feel like there's kind of only so much competition, so that kind of like aids in it. So I started out with just Muay Thai fights. So for those that don't know, that's basically
Brutal.
basically just all strikes, no ground, no jujitsu or anything like that. Just the art of
Knee and elbows and
knees,
yeah.
elbows, punches, kicks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I started out with Muay Thai, eventually got offered an MMA fight, took that. That's probably my worst fight ever. I won, but it was probably my worst fight ever just because the fight for me wasn't the fight. It was more so getting to the fight, which is a completely different story. From there, went on to win my second fight, first round TKO. And then after that, I got offered the chance to fight for my first championship.
Okay. And TKO is total knockout.
Yeah.
What is that? What's the requirements for that? Like, what is that?
Yes. So basically, as you're like, if you hit somebody, they kind of like fall back, and then you kind of like go to like hit them again, and they're not defending themselves in a smart way, or they just are kind of out of it, or basically they're just not defending themselves. The referee will kind of give a warning and be like, defend yourself. They'll let you know they're about to stop the fight.
Yeah.
If that person doesn't make a move or do something to show that they're still engaged in the fight, the ref will stop it, and that's when you get a TKO. A knockout, obviously, that person's unconscious, stiff.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen this, and I think I understand the concept, but nobody's ever explained it to me. In all of the MMA fights that I've seen, after somebody gets knocked to the ground and it looks like the fight's over, the person that knocked them to the ground always goes to finish. Like, is that just a standard rule? Or
Yeah.
You want to make sure they're out.
Yeah, you want to make sure they're done. So in boxing, you get an 8 count, right? And then there's only so many 8 counts. Kind of does more damage because at least like in MMA, when you go to finish them, they don't get a chance to recover and then do it again. And then you're doing more damage to your brain, right? In boxing, you get that 8 count. You seem like you're almost there. They let you fight again. You get knocked down again. You're clearly out of it, but you respond to the 8 count. Sometimes it's just muscle memory. You've done it so many times that your body just reacts and you're not really there. I've never personally been knocked out or had a flash knockout happen to me, but like through training partners that have told me like they've been knocked out, finished the round, don't even remember the round.
Wow.
And then they like come to while they're sitting down.
Yeah.
And they're like, aren't we supposed to spar?
Oh, man.
And the other person like, we did spar, not realizing that they've been knocked out. So if that can happen, then just imagine what happens in boxing.
For sure. Okay. Ooh, I need to look more into this. So I have a very little bit of training in neuroscience. That's something I'm passionate about, though, but especially because I sustained a concussion and how serious that was. I need to look more into this. I really do want to fight, but I know it's a dangerous thing for me to
do. Yeah, no, it's crazy. And I actually stopped making jokes about this because I do believe like things that you like say kind of come into fruition no matter what. But I would like joke all the time whenever I forget stuff and things and be like, oh, that's that CTE catching up to me. And then there's one day where, everybody does this. They have their phone, they have their Face ID, and it unlocks their phone.
Yeah.
There's one day.
Oh, no.
And I had put my phone code in that day for something. So I knew my phone code. But for some reason, my face didn't unlock my phone and it just disappeared. And I locked myself out my phone. Couldn't get back into it for a whole day because I literally could not forget my password. I had to factory reset my phone. From there on out, I stopped putting my face as like my code to get in. I type it in every time just because that was like a real like moment for me. I was like, I've never been a forgetful person ever in life.
And not to have your phone for a whole day.
Which, was another thing because I make money off my phone. So, that kind of like really made me like stop kind of joking about it and like, try to like do things that kind of promote better brain health as far as like, whether that's like supplementing or like trying things like the hyperbaric chamber where you're kind of like enclosed, things like that, because that's serious. Your brain doesn't come back once that's out.
Neuroplasticity is something that's within all of us. Like we have an ability to heal ourselves, but there's limits to that, of course. And how you take care of your body and your brain matters, like before the injury and after. So when I got out of the hospital, it was just a lot. I went to the hospital 3 times. It was really not okay. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was like, why can't I remember things? Why do I feel weird? Why, even after I sleep, I'm not feeling better? A neighbor took me to the ER, but they didn't believe that I was a fighter. They just thought this is a crazy Black woman, so we're going to treat her like that. So there was that element too, which is why I had to keep coming back. Concussions are pretty easy to treat now that I know. You should sleep. And then so after I got out of the hospital the 3 times, I was on a strict diet. I needed to eat more fats and protein, like healthy fats and protein. I drank a lot of olive oil because it was a healthy fat and it helped me heal pretty quickly. Did all of my follow-up visits, but this took 6 months to a year of my life of trying to recover from it. So it's not something to take lightly. You need your brain for real. I'm going to transition into talking about mental health because that's the basis of my show. And I want to know, have you ever been to therapy before?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that experience like?
So I had 2 separate experiences. The first one, my father passed my first year of college.
I'm sorry.
And I think I didn't really take time off. I kind of just was like, okay, well, being one of the first in my family to go to college was super important to me. And I just felt like he would want me to finish.
Yeah.
So I kind of stuck it through. But the second year I did kind of feel not 100% like myself. I've always been pretty temperamental.
Which is here. Cool. This is an awkward position for me to be in. It needs to be maybe I'll just move closer to you. Yeah. But you're not in it. I'm not skilled at this. I'm just figuring it out.
With time.
It really needs to be more of you. The table needs to turn even. Does this feel comfortable to you?
I feel fine.
You feel fine. Okay. I'll just be looking at you.
if we're going to do it, we just do it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I'll do my intro. Hi, everybody. It's Anura Mathis, your host of Freedom to Fight. I have another guest on my show, Mo Dodson. She's a fighter. I'm really excited to have more like fighters on my show. She's an amateur strawweight champion with Sparta Combat League. You're a lot of other things too, but I need to find that out. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Monique Dodson, currently in Colorado, amateur, soon to be pro, hopefully starting next year, I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, I really just work, chill, chill.
Yeah.
This is like dating for sure. And I thought that was my woman. I thought that was my woman. And it was not. She's just the intake therapist.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so she paired me with another guy, and not like, I don't know him. We didn't have a close relationship. He just didn't work for me. That's it. Plain and simple.
Dating.
Plain and simple. So I stopped going, and they hit me up like, "Hey, do you want to continue your sessions? You haven't came back in a while." And I was like, "You know what? No, I'm good." And I kind of just left it at that. But what I will say from that is, knowing I had a problem, knowing I made the moves to go get help, I was like, okay, if I'm not going to go see a therapist while I'm there, I at least need to like educate myself more on my emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
So I started kind of working on that. Fast forward to me living in Denver.
Yeah. When did you move here?
Moved here during the pandemic, so like 2020.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pandemic baby for sure. Moved here 2020, and I think I started going to therapy probably like a year and a half after that. I had a relationship that I got into, kind of just took a lot out of me. And so I decided to get therapy, and then I had friends here that kind of like had resources for minority women of color to get free therapy. So it's like, oh, this is a sign again. Let me take this opportunity. And the problem with that, it started off good. I think the problem was that I started feeling like I was being kind of pacified. I didn't really like that. And then,
What do you mean by that?
like, I get that you're supposed to feel, you're okay for feeling whatever you want to feel, but call me out on my shit.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I was being called out on my shit, but I knew my shit.
Right.
And then the other thing is, I'm not a manipulative person, I don't feel like, but I started like playing this game as I was going, where I started to know like I could make her say things,
Right.
or that I knew the right answer to everything.
Yeah.
Or if we were talking about something, I already knew the answer. And then I don't know, it just became like one of those things where it's like, is this really doing me any good? Or
Right.
like, what am I doing? I didn't come in with a goal.
Right.
That's what it was.
Okay. Well, you don't have to go to therapy, everybody, but I said this in my interview with Donald, like I should be careful the way that I phrase this, but I feel like everybody's manipulative. I don't think it's bad though. Like you can use manipulation for good or bad.
Right.
And I guess bad, so to speak, meaning when people are manipulative to therapists, which are a lot of people, most people, it's because they don't feel safe. I don't trust you, so I'm going to participate, but I'm going to do it in an inauthentic way. Most human beings have done that. A good therapist should be able to pick up on that. And a good therapist should call you out on your shit, because that's the point. It's not this toxic positivity that I'm just encouraging. Like, who cares about? People need real skills. They need the realness of. I just lost a client. I guess I can say that without giving any identifying information, but because I was being, from my perspective, what I believe, because this client didn't share with me, I thought that I was doing my job. I was being confrontational in the ways I needed to be. I was pushing this person. And some people don't come to therapy for that. So I don't know. If you're not ready to heal and like deal with the problem, I'm not helping you then.
Yeah. It's very interesting because talking to somebody I'm close with, they were kind of telling me how they had a very good therapist that they really respected that would like call them out on their shit. And while they were going through therapy, she told me she would block her therapist because she was like, we would have our moments where I just like, I had to block her. Like, I couldn't talk to her, but she loved that about her. Yeah. But she never told her therapist that, of course. And I don't think she sees them anymore, but not because she doesn't want to now. I think she found her coping skills or whatever she needed, and she's good now. But it's just funny how, some people come because they want to feel like they want somebody to tell them that they're right because they're not getting told that they're right in their regular life.
Being validated is important.
Yeah.
It's just one aspect of therapy. And I made the reference that finding a therapist is like dating. It takes a while. As a therapist, I've gone through a lot of therapy and I've fired a lot of my therapists because they weren't doing their job. Actually, last year I had a therapist that I'm an EMDR therapist. Have you heard? Do you know what that is?
The friend that I'm talking about, she told me she's gone through that. So
okay. So I was looking for an EMDR therapist to help me heal from my concussion and my near-death experience. So I show up to these sessions, and she doesn't even know what EMDR is. Like, two therapists back to back. She's not doing what she's supposed to do, and I'm trained in it. So I'm calling her out, and I terminate sessions with her, and then the next one, I like interrupt her in the middle of our session. Like, aren't we supposed to do this? Or like, you don't know what you're doing? Don't call yourself an EMDR therapist if you don't know the training. It's not really that hard, I don't think. But it's a huge responsibility that you are signing up for as a therapist. You have to do your job. This is like people's lives.
Yeah.
So you need to be real careful.
Yeah.
And EMDR is like hypnotherapy. Like, I'm actually which is, what are your, I guess, what's your advice for someone that's seeking therapy?
It'd kind of be the same as my advice for if you're wanting to do martial arts, just do it.
Okay.
Just try it. It's not going to feel okay at first. But that's good because I feel like the hard things kind of make you better as a person. And doing the hard things makes it easier to do the hard things. So, yeah, if you're thinking about it, just try it. Just find a resource. There's all kind of resources out there for you to at least have one session where you don't have to pay crazy money.
Yeah.
Just figure it out. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way.
I agree. Yeah. Of course, there's financial obstacles.
Yeah.
Transportation, technology. There's a lot of things that...
But we have technology, and when I was getting those sessions, they were virtual. Yeah. On campus was different. I did show up in person, but like the ones here in Denver, they were virtual. So, granted, not everybody has a computer, but a lot of times there will be somebody that they have services where they'll come pick you up, You know,
that's true.
There's things out there.
And
ask the right questions.
This is also a space they can use. They could book this space for an hour or two. It's not completely private, but they could rent a laptop and they could do it. So I don't want to be discouraging to anybody that is seeking therapy and like has had that obstacle or any of those obstacles. I've had that obstacle in the past where I couldn't afford therapy or really finding the right therapist to me is like the biggest obstacle. Like you think that this person is well educated and like maybe not well educated because we all are, you have to be, but not a therapist is only as good as their own integration, their own development. Like I think I'm a good therapist because I've gone through so much trauma from my childhood, my adult, like current, like I know how to deal with adversity and overcome that. And I can share my experiences in therapy, but I've done the work on myself. So that's what I bring to the table too as a therapist is I'm not going to let you do this because I wouldn't do that for myself. Like, so what criticisms do you have for the therapy world? Yeah.
I think it's really just about, it's just kind of like those social cues and skills that not everybody develops. I when I was younger, I was more of a shy, introverted person, which still comes off today sometimes. But as I went through college, I kind of like pushed myself to do things that I was super uncomfortable with in social situations. Like, I did a pageant. It's nothing I would
A
ever.
beauty pageant?
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I did a pageant, but I just because I wanted to like talk in front of people, a lot of people, and kind of like push myself to be more sociable because especially like I feel like in your line of work it's important to know how to talk to people and be able to read those social cues, and if you don't have those experiences you kind of miss things, which leads you to pacify people like me who need to be called out on their shit, or maybe you're too hard on people and they don't know how to tell you that you're being too hard, but they're kind of saying little things and you're just missing cues.
Okay.
So that would be my only thing.
So the criticism is therapists just kind of like, how did you just phrase this? Kind of like not calling you out on your shit.
Yeah, I think there's kind of misread situations.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm taking it as feedback for me because I'm a part of the collective, the group. So I know that there's things I can work on. I'm sure if I had more money, I'd be a better therapist just in general. I would have more, I don't know. Maybe it's not just money. Maybe it's just being okay with not having enough money kind of thing. But
yeah, so I read this book called Think and Grow Rich, and it kind of talks about excuses that we kind of use on why we haven't done something or got better at something or been put in a better situation. And it's funny because like that's like kind of one of the main ones that I talked about. If I had more money, or if I had this, or if I knew this person, and it's kind of like it kind of like tells you if you put it out there, you can have it.
Yeah,
you can have it. You just got to put it out there, and of course you have to do the work, but constantly putting it out there. I used to always tell people just based on life circumstances that I wasn't a lucky person, and then would wonder why bad stuff kept happening to me.
Ooh.
So literally the start of this year, I said, I'm not going to say I'm not a lucky person anymore. I'm going to say that I'm fortunate, and I swear to God,
it changed.
This year, I've been so fortunate.
It's been
me.
So
right. It's been crazy. Just like the power word is crazy. So that's one of the things. Like, and I say stuff like that too. If I just was in this right situation, or if I had money for this, like things would be different. And now I'm like, the universe listens to no and not and can't. So now I am fortunate. Now I will be rich. I will be put in these situations. I will be big. I will, whatever it is. And yeah, I feel like it listens.
Well, I think that's pretty powerful because a lot of people don't reach that point. I mean, they're in their 60s and 70s, like with the same fucking story of I'm a victim
Yeah.
and, people have to help me and I can't help myself. Like, if you're going to therapy, that's something that you should be able to develop with a therapist. Like, your self-worth and your self-confidence, like you should feel empowered, just like in martial arts. So I'm going to give you some space to ask me questions, and they'll have 2 more questions to ask at the end.
Okay. One of the big ones, I'll stick with therapy for now.
Sure.
With the EMDR, I don't really know too much. So
Okay.
I kind of knew what she told me as far as like hypnosis, but I don't really know what goes into it.
Sure.
besides that.
Okay, so EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a therapy that was developed for veterans to help them heal from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. There's a book. It's probably just called EMDR, but Francine Shapiro is the person that developed EMDR, and it's the famous walk. So she goes outside when she's stressed and just is able to see like a horizon, and that calmed her down, just walking and seeing just natural nature. So her eyes are focused on this horizon, and she was able to control that. So EMDR is like hypnotherapy, but you're teaching your client to hypnotize themselves or control their own brain through various different ways. So some people do the little finger back and forth, like kind of like hypnosis. Or there's lasers that you can use. There's sound bars that you can use. As a remote therapist, who I see clients remotely, I do the cross arm like this. It's just the rhythm. Or you can do butterfly, or you can do on your tapping on your knees, but it's like keeping the rhythm, and it's actually communicating to your brain that we're going to go into this trauma. So that a therapist will ask a client to. There are many steps before you get to the trauma processing, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know it was a long process.
There's testing that you need to do to make sure that your client is safe enough to be able to do that, because some people aren't comfortable being inside their own brain, their own mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
But like that's how I feel. Okay, so you're talking about PTSD. But that's the whole thing with like psychedelics and psilocybin, right? It's something that people talk about treating PTSD or in certain dosages, but a lot of people have bad experiences because I feel like they are scared to be inside their own head.
And I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that. I'm newly a CAP provider, so ketamine assisted psychotherapist. And it's like my background, my spiritual background is in meditate. Like, I've been studying and practicing meditation pretty much my whole life. So I'm very comfortable in my own mind, and EMDR works very perfect for me. But people that are not comfortable meditating or being silent, their eyes closed, just during the day, there are things you need to test for. So one thing that you have to test for is dissociation. If somebody can stay within the moment, that you're focused on the trauma. So you do all of these steps ahead of time to make sure that they know how to ground themselves. And then when you start the trauma processing, you're asking them to bring up the worst image of the trauma that you can remember, and you're working through that as a movie, a mental movie in your mind while you're doing the tapping. So basically, EMDR is just helping you process the trauma because it just got stuck. That's all. Everybody experienced trauma throughout their lives, and a lot of people just process it naturally and won't have to go to therapy. But some people don't. I mean, that's not, one's not better than the other. You just have to train your brain, and I think going through EMDR therapy myself over the past 2 years, I can process a lot faster. So you like develop that skill with your own mind.
Yeah. And I feel like, okay, so as a therapist, so now that I've met like other, and this is also exciting for me too, because all the people that I've met here that are therapists that I'm cool with are also Black women.
Okay.
So that's all it's,
That's good.
because I don't come from places where there's a lot of Black women in therapy. So it's pretty exciting. But how do you keep a balance of, especially like someone that goes to therapy, of doing a good job balancing your personal opinion about a situation versus your professional opinion, and where is it okay to blend those lines?
Interesting question. I view my position as a therapist as a huge responsibility. Like it's a service that I'm doing. And I don't know if I can articulate that, but I knew going from a very young age that in this way I needed to help people. So before I graduated high school, I knew I wanted to be a psychologist, which is different than a therapist, but they practice therapy too. I think that it's good to just think in those ways, just in your everyday life. Like, how do I not get too wrapped up in drama? Like, how do I remove myself from that and see objectively? So I practice that. Like, I feel like, of course, I make mistakes, or of course, I act in my own conditioning and then recognize that I could have done something better, but that's my goal. Like, it's something that I need to work on like throughout my life. So it helps me as a therapist. I mean, you can journal, you could talk to therapists about it. You should consult with other, like you should have people check you, And so I'm trying to develop my networks to do that. I mean, I've got a supervisor. I've got, a few private practices I'm about to partner with. So I'll have a team, but yeah, you should have people that can be honest with you and say, hey, like it seems like you maybe don't like your client, or like you're being too hard on them, or you're like whatever it is. You should have people around you and have ways to check yourself. Yeah.
And then my last question is more about martial arts. As a woman, do you feel like more women should get involved in jiu-jitsu?
I think yes. I think every woman should train in jiu-jitsu. Every woman, every girl, like I think kind of like everybody. Okay, so this is my perspective. I like training with men because men are my, biggest attack. I've never been attacked by a woman. I've fought my sister before, but we were young and it wasn't like a fight. But I feel like in our world, but especially in our society, it's like women are seen as the weaker whatever. Like I don't think that should be the case, because women just bring a different set of skills to the table. I feel like if the problem is that men are just overpowered, that should be eliminated by women stepping up and training and being able to defend themselves. And the same thing for girls. I mean, and little boys too, they're victimized. Like, I just feel like if that's the element is, well, this person overpowered you, I'm not going to be able to defend defend myself against everybody, but I should have some skills.
Yeah. I definitely believe that every woman should do some jiu-jitsu specifically for that. It doesn't matter if I've trained and I have a 300-pound man attacking me. If he wants to hit me, he can hit me, right? This is more to protect myself, to kind of level the playing field, because not everybody you encounter is going to know how to grapple. And believe it or not, a little bit goes a long way in jiu-jitsu. You don't need to be stronger if you know things that they don't know. And I think a lot of women don't understand that. I feel like there's kind of a misconception when you think about martial arts in general, because you see what's on TV with the karate, and you think like, oh, it's just show. and then you have jiu-jitsu and MMA, and then you're thinking you have to be aggressive and punch somebody. And sometimes you just need to know what to do if you're being choked,
Mm-hmm.
and that's enough
Yeah.
to save a life.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Okay. I think I'm just going to ask my final question. My show is called Freedom to Fight, or the Freedom to Fight podcast. So what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom to me is really just being able to do something I want to do. Whether that's emotionally, physically, financially.
Mm-hmm.
It's just putting it out there and being able to go get it.
Okay. Everybody should have that freedom. I agree with that definition. I want to promote you.
Mm.
So I'll include all of your like contact details and stuff so that my audience can follow you. But like if you have any fights coming up or anything like that, like I want to, I know it sucks when it doesn't work out, but
yeah. Well, right now fights, aiming for February, pro debut, probably my last 2 amateur fights. Both my opponents pulled out, so it's been kind of hard to find fights at the amateur level. So now I feel like if people have money attached, they're going to show up.
Okay.
So aiming for February. Right now, nothing in concrete.
Okay. And do you have any sponsors? Anything?
Oh, yes. Actually,
Yeah.
I do have one sponsor that's been pretty consistent with me. It's Billy Zonka Catering.
Nice.
So kind of goes into treating a holistic way of treating aimed at PTSD, kind of.
Really?
Yes. Through, how to say, herbal remedies.
Okay. Well, I should connect with them.
Yes.
And I'll promote them. And yeah, I'm grateful that you came on my show and that my audience gets to know you. And yeah, thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate